The Blind Man and the Elephant is an age-old fable and parable. It depicts how each man attempts to describe the object in front of them. Each of them uses what they feel and experience in front of them as well as their own knowledge to come up with an explanation. Whether it be rope for the tail, spear for the tusk, or fan for the ear, each of their own models missed the big picture, which was the elephant. Mental models are our own explanations, compressions, and simulations. They are tools that you can use to understand life, make decisions, and solve problems. This might sound quite general, and indeed, many mental models are generalizations and analogies. They work largely in the background, providing a framework for you to lean back on when you encounter something new or familiar. Many things that we learn may not even seem like mental models. You may have heard or learned about supply and demand. This is a way to see our world, a model of consumers and suppliers. However, people without learning about this model could very well view the world differently. I remember as a child, I used to think that behind a shop, there would be a huge area where they produce every item in the shop. This is a model that allowed me to reason and understand the world. But as I grew older with more knowledge, I learned to reshape and expand on that model. Mental models are built off of past experiences, so each person may have their own mental models and ways of seeing the world, as depicted in the parable at the start. Moreover, many mental models are largely tacit, which means that many people are not aware of them unless a conscious effort is made to learn and discover them. And it's worth that conscious effort to be aware of our own mental models and to expand our toolbox. Since mental models are based on our own past experiences, they may be erroneous or incomplete. As well, we tend to follow and trust our own mental models just like how we trust ourselves and our own instincts. And sometimes, this will reinforce a narrow perspective. This can be particularly easy when we are smart or talented in a certain area. A certain worldview can dominate our thinking, and the quote, "If you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail," describes this effectively. Think back to the blind men's story. Each of them had their own blind spots, and what each of them lacked was perspective. Changing and considering other perspectives and viewpoints can help us eliminate these blind spots. Think of mental models as lenses that can help you see the world in a different way. You can train yourself to think better by expanding on the set of mental models that you use. This gives you more tools, more ways to approach a problem, and more ways to see an event. Learning new mental models allows you to branch out from just your own set of concepts, frameworks, and worldviews. It can allow you to understand other people better and to understand problems in different ways. There are many ways you can do this. Reading widely and reading a variety of the best books, studying the fundamentals of seemingly unrelated fields, and learning from people with all sorts of different life experiences. Many of the most important models are big ideas from all sorts of disciplines, and perhaps the best mental models for everyone are those with utility. No matter the discipline, if we can use it and recognize it in our lives, if it can help us develop perspective in our everyday encounters, then I believe that these models are worth learning and keeping. In this series, I'll be delving into all sorts of mental models, with an emphasis on how you might be able to see and understand the world in a different way with each of them. Some may seem quite familiar, some may be quite novel and interesting, and some may not seem important to you at all, but could still be applicable. These models will have guided a large number of people, but in the end, it's up to you to determine where it fits in your own life and complex framework. Thank you all for listening, and stay tuned for the next one in the series.